TREX Miner version 0.25.15, changelog, overclock settings, results, conclusion and profits. Hello my fellow miner. I know why you're here. I know why you clicked this video. Yeah, you want it right. Awesome, hardcore, super big amounts of data. That is what you like. Changelog extended the new LHR unlock functionality to Ethereum plus Lithium dual mining and ERGO single mode. Low power mode can now be set individually per GPU. Allow setting up and down auto-tune intervals separately. Now requires the new 5xx drivers in Windows and Linux. Changed LHR auto-tune step size to 0.1, but it doesn't really work like that in dual mining. Ethereum overclock settings. For the RTX 3050, lock the core clock to 900 and set the memory clock in HiveOS to 1200 and 600 in Windows. Then disable LHR. Yes, you need to disable LHR. It is an LHR version 3 card and it is really bad. For the RTX 3060, lock the core clock to 1552, set the memory clock in HiveOS to 2600 and in Windows to 1300. The card I'm using for tests is a Zotac RTX 3060 Twin Edge LHR. Unlike its RTX 3070 Ti brother, this one is actually stable and quite good. For the RTX 3060 Ti Hynix revision 1 memory, lock the core clock to 1350, set the memory clock in HiveOS to 2100 and in Windows to 1050. The difference between a revision 1 and a revision 2 is that revision 2 can clock to 3400 and above, while a revision 1 can only clock to 2100 if you're really lucky. You may actually see that it's lower than that. The RTX 3060 Ti Hynix revision 2 lock the core clock to 1500 and set the memory in HiveOS to 3200 and 1600 in Windows. If you're unsure which one you have, then just try with memory clock at 2300 and if it crashes then you have a Hynix revision 1. You could also have a Samsung one, in that case then you're super lucky. Enjoy. For the RTX 3070, lock your core clock to 1125 and set the memory in HiveOS to 2600 and in Windows to 1300. It is the absolute most efficient card as always, and it is the go-to buy if you want to buy a new card. Buy an RTX 3070. For the RTX 3070 Ti, lock your core clock at 900 and set your memory to 2300 in HiveOS and 1150 in Windows. You can also up your memory even more if it's possible for you, but if I go above 2500, my hash rate tanks completely to 55 MHz per second. For the RTX 3080 10 gigs, lock the core clock to 1250 and set the memory clock to 3400 in HiveOS and 1700 in Windows. This is actually a pretty good card. It is quite stable, but the thermal pads have started to decay a bit, so I need to change them soon. If you have the RTX 3080 12 gigs, then I feel for you. But lock your core clock at 900 and set your memory clock in HiveOS to 1200 and 600 in Windows. Remember to disable your LHR, as this card is using version 3. I highly recommend that you mine something else than Ethereum with this card. Check out my crypto mining videos with the daily profits. Setting up in HiveOS is easy. All you need to do is actually just run it. In case you have the RTX 3050 and the RTX 3080 12 gigs, then you can disable it by setting LHR tune to 0 as seen here on the screen. If you use Windows, simply create a batch file based upon what you see here. And please remember to run it as admin. Results. Let's start by having a look at the mining screen. To the left we have the normal mode and to the right we have low power mode. However, there isn't really any reason to go into details here, as we will have it all on our very nice charts. You will be able to see what the average reported hash rate is and what the maximum and minimum hash rates are, as well as power level. First up is the fantastic RTX 3050. LHR mining Ethereum. It actually uses LHR 3 and that is why it has been disabled. If you enable LHR, then you'll get higher hash rate, but it will come at the cost of efficiency. And as LHR unlock is disabled here, we won't be able to use low power mode either. If you are the proud owner of this fantastic card, then you can comfort yourself with it's excellent for Minesweeper. And it's actually not that bad in other currencies. So avoid LHR. Now it's time to have a look at the RTX 3060 LHR mining Ethereum, and this one is LHR version 2. Let's start by having a look at the average hash rate compared to 0.12. It is 0.1 megahash per second faster, which is also what it fluctuates with if we look at min-max hash rate. Looking at the LHR value, it is actually 1.1 higher, yet it only gives 0.1 megahash per second more. Now let's have a look at the low power mode, where we can see that it's 0.2 megahash per second slower than version 0.12. The reason for that could be that they are not tested on the same drivers. Now have a look at min-max watts. There you see how it truly fluctuates when you are using low power mode. Another thing to note is that low power mode, no matter which version, has a lower LHR unlock value. This mode is excellent actually if you have thermal problems, but I don't know how it will affect the longevity of your graphic card. Now it's time to have a look at the RTX 3060 Ti LHR Hynix Revision 1 mining Ethereum. If you are unsure how to know if you have a Rev 1 or Rev 2, simply try to set the memory at 2300 in HiveOS, and if you crash, then it's a Rev 1. Now let's start by having a look at the average megahash per second. We see that the latest version is 0.1 faster than version 0.12, and in low power mode it's actually 0.2 megahash per second faster. However, it also consumes 2 watts more, which makes it less efficient. That is also pretty apparent when we look at the minimum max watts. Looking at the LHR values for all of them, we see the latest version has the highest, without any actual benefits. Now it's time to have a look at the RTX 3060 Ti LHR Hynix Revision 2 mining Ethereum. In normal mode, we actually see a very nice increase of 0.7 megahash per second between 0.15 and 0.12. Looking at low power mode, we actually see a decrease of 0.5 megahash per second between the newest version and the previous version. Yet again, that could very well be to the difference in drivers. Looking at low power mode min-max watts, we actually see that it is fluctuating 49 watts. That is a lot, while the max core temp only being 2 degrees lower. Looking at average watts, you can actually see that you save around an average of 20 watts running low power mode. Now let's have a look at the RTX 3070 LHR mining Ethereum. In normal mode average megahash per second, we see an increase of 0.1 megahash per second, while a 0.6 megahash per second in low power mode. The low power mode fluctuation is around 40 watts, while being 10 watts in normal mode. If you're looking to buy a new GPU for mining, this is definitely the one. The RTX 3070 is the most efficient. Now let's have a look at the RTX 3070 Ti LHR mining Ethereum. Yes, all RTX 3070 Ti's are LHR, I know. I say it so it's easier for YouTube to actually suggest this content to people that search for LHR. Sneaky like a ninja. Anyway, as can be seen here on the screen, I messed up my 0.12 test by clocking the memory too high, and that kicked in the ECC type of error handling in the memory, which results in a much lower hash rate. That is also the reason that if you saw my previous video, that I have changed the overclocks in this one. I did do a quick test, but unfortunately I didn't record it. However, the gain is 0.1 megahash per second. Isn't that fantastic? Looking at low power mode, it actually increased by 0.9 megahash per second by running the latest version. As seen in min-max watts, the power fluctuation is around 60 watts when running low power mode, while it's around 14 watts when running in normal mode. Anyway, today I changed the thermal pads on it and it didn't do anything at all. Well, the other ones were also only 3 months old, but I had to see if I did a botch job. It was okay, but I changed them anyway. Now I've ordered one of those very nice copper thermal plates for it to see if that will help me actually get something out of this card that is nice. Well, that is my excuse. I just want to play with some hardware already. So subscribe if you want to see the results whenever I get the copper plate. Now let's have a look at the results for the RTX 3080 10 gigs LHR mining Ethereum. Here we actually see a very nice increase of 0.3 MHz per second in normal mode and 0.2 MHz per second in low power mode. If we have a quick look at min-max memory temperature here, we'll see that it actually jumps a lot in low power mode as well for me in the normal mode. It is getting hotter here and I may need to change the thermal pads on it very soon. It is still using the original. Anyway, having a look at min-max watts, we'll see that it jumps by 70 watts using low power mode. Now it's time to have a look at the final card until I get my RTX 3080 Ti back from repairs. The RTX 3080 12 gigs LHR mining Ethereum. Again, as I have disabled LHR unlock on this card here specifically, we'll see that low power mode doesn't work and there is absolutely nothing to gain if you purely mine Ethereum. So you can stay on whichever version you were using before. Wow, my version really sounds German. Wo ist das Mikrofilm? Conclusion and profits. If you're already running on TREX Miner 0.25.12 and mining Ethereum, then you don't have much to gain unless you have stability problems or you are mining Ethereum plus a lithium. I didn't cover the ETH+ALPH gains in this video, but you can check my channel for a test on the beta version where you can see they're actually pretty good. So in short, if you plan on dual mining, then you should update. Or if you have stability problems with the current version you're running, you should update as well. Is it worth updating for 0.1 MHz per second? Well, that is a question you need to answer, not me. I would not update for 0.1 MHz per second as the downtime will cost me more than I'll gain before I'll switch to a new miner and test it anyway. When it comes to stability, I've had absolutely no problem, neither in 0.15, 14 and 13, the betas. They have been rock stable for me and everything has been running smoothly, both in HiveOS and Windows. If you are wondering what the difference between Windows 10 and HiveOS performance wise, then you can actually check a video on my channel where I test beta.14 and the difference is 0.1 MHz per second, where HiveOS is the winner. So if you update and switch from Windows 10 over to HiveOS, you can actually gain 0.2 MHz per second. Isn't that fantastic? I hope you enjoyed my video. Please help me out by liking the video, and if you want to see more, subscribe. I hope to see you in the next one. Now the profits.